I want this story to be told. Okay,
It really is an awesome
it's an
story.
awesome story. Beautiful. And what better person to have been that than Chad? So I just can't wait for y'all to hear it. I'm
And
trying to wait.
if y'all don't know, Pee Wee was James Brown's former band leader, who was actually one of Chad's mentors. You had some awesome mentors, Valencia,
real.
Pee Wee. Dang, Chad must be a Jedi at this point.
I'll keep it short because I know it's, I want to make sure people get to hear the music. But yeah, I mean, my absolute musical hero on the trombone is Fred Wesley, and he and Pee Wee were kind of alternating musical directors for James Brown for many years. And Pee Wee wrote a lot of the songs, Soul Pride, Soul Power, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, and Real Cold Sweat. And, Pee Wee telling me the story of James Brown coming to him on the bus on the way, back from the road, and literally said, "Hey man, write this down." and Pee Wee, Pee Wee's got a funny way of just not saying much, but looking at you a kind of way. And he said, I kind of looked up and said, "Okay." And he'd been listening to Miles Davis and was inspired by So What, and kind of put the horns together and taught the band on the bus. And they recorded that song. And that's really credited as the first funk song in American history, and started the genre of funk. So if you can imagine the context of Pee Wee telling me this story before we've even played our first gig that debuted, this was a band and a tour called Still Black, Still Proud, an African tribute to James Brown. So it was all these African artists that were playing James Brown's music, and we were playing their music. So it was like Vusi Makasela from South Africa, the Voice of South Africa, and like all these incredible artists, Shek Lo from Senegal. It's just a really incredible cast of individuals who's hearing, James Brown's music in their townships and villages and all of this, kind of their rhythms coming to America and then coming back to them with the message of Black is beautiful, Black is pride, be proud, like say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. This message of empowerment in the 60s was so empowering to them, and so, gratifying and just such an acknowledgement. So anyway, I'm the white dude in the band and playing the trombone and feeling very blessed to be there amongst musical giants. And for those of us that are artists, we, there's so much that goes into when you're playing with your heroes. Like there's a fear and nervousness baked into that already. Then in the context of social justice and like, what is my role in this thing? And knowing how much I care about doing right by the people that I care about, the music and the heritage of the music that I care most about. I mean, you talk about like jazz, funk, and Afro-Caribbean music, which are my biggest influences. Like I celebrate Black history every time I pick up my trombone.
You better talk about it, Chad.
Hey, that's why I work with this guy, okay? I'm sorry, go ahead.
So wanting to do right by Pee Wee. So it comes time and we've rehearsed, and Pee Wee's way of rehearsing is, the songs because you've listened to the records and you play them right, or he turns around and he kind of looks at you and plays the part that you're supposed to be playing. You never want to get that look. Mm-hmm. And so we're on stage, and the way that we performed Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, I mean, it starts, right, with your bad self, right? So like the band's in it and grooving. And each of these African artists, is the finale of the show, they come and they say, I'm Black and I'm proud in their native tongue. So in Swahili and Vusi is saying, in his dialect, Kashasimon, Lubuntu, Ubuntu, like full on, like we're learning this stuff and it's happening live. And then it gets to the part, like say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. And the band is standing there like this. And I'm like, what's the playbook on this? Because nobody told me.
He said, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do right now?
I'm not Black. I'm proud as hell to be on this stage, but is it a sign of disrespect if I, if I put my hand in the air and say I'm Black and I'm proud? Like, is that the right thing to do, the wrong thing to do. Not really the kind of question you raise your hand in rehearsal and ask. So this is happening, and I'm just like, I'm grooving, right? And I'm singing because we're all singing. Or I'm not singing, I'm grooving. I can't remember exactly, but Pee Wee turns around and he sees me grooving and not singing, and he looked like,
Right.
and that look said everything. And it was like, you know, man, like, stand with us. Like, this is not about whether or not you're Black. This is about my right to be proud as a Black man, and to have you honor that, and to have you stand with me and let me say this with your support, and say it with me, and join me in this fight for our collective liberation, so that we can feel the joy that you've been privileged not to think about your entire life. And like, if a look could say all of those things on a stage, which the stage is the most sacred place in my life, and amongst the people that I respect the most, like, to have that lesson in allyship or in brotherhood or in whatever you want to call it, in support of everything that I care most about, like, packaged into one moment. That was a moment that defined my life and defined what I feel my role is in this mission and in this work. And it's a moment I'll never forget for the rest of my life.
Oof.
That's a beautiful moment, man. That's a real beautiful moment, man. And to be honest with you, I'm glad that you were in that moment to see that, because I do feel like that has spun so many things and has taken you and propelled you to understand people, and to take a moment to really sit back and be like, okay, like you said, am I helping here, or am I, you know what I'm saying? It's like having that thought. Not a lot of people take the time to even think like that. And that's what we need more of, especially for people that do have privilege that we may not have. So for you to be able to walk in certain rooms, and you can be able, like you said, you can echo certain things. So I'm just glad you were there. I'm glad Pee Wee gave you that look. I'm glad that we are here, Guitars Over Guns, today. It's a beautiful organization. I know everything you do is real. It's not fake. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be here, to be completely honest with you. And I appreciate your realness. I appreciate you standing with us and standing beside of me as I be a Black man out here, because I'm Black and I'm proud. You dig?
Come on.
If you Black and you proud, put your hand up. You Black and you proud, put your hand up.
Everybody on
you Black and you
Facebook
proud,
right
put
now,
your
if you Black
hand
and you
up.
proud, put your
Straight
hands
up.
up. That's why I really wanted you to tell that story, Chad, because it exemplifies everything that we're doing here, celebrating Black history, exemplifies everything we're doing in Go-Go. Each one teach one. It's a collective liberation that we're fighting for.
James, and just to bring it full circle, like, let me just say this one time as a leader of an organization that serves and works with Black brilliance, from students to mentors to board members to the entire organization. I mean, you know, it's a scary world right now, and we're all afraid of doing the wrong thing. But to have the courage to show up and get it wrong, and keep showing up and keep getting it right more times than you get it wrong, is the most important thing. And when I think about, you know, especially thinking about One Night in Miami and those scenes and like the conversations, like, nobody's got it figured out. Like, Sam Cooke didn't know what his role was before, you know, he wrote that song and put it out there. He was not standing behind that message in that way. He was doing a lot of Black empowerment and ownership and transferring ownership and building Black wealth. But do I say it? Do I not say it? Do I alienate my white audience? This conflict, this internal conflict of what is my role in the collective liberation of all of us is an important question to keep asking ourselves, and it's going to keep changing. And I may not always get it right, but I'm, you know, so honored and proud to work with people that are willing to say, hey man, I see you, you know, think about this, or let's have that conversation. And if I can encourage one thing to everybody that's watching, Black, white, or otherwise, it's to keep having those conversations and allow yourself to feel that discomfort in the pursuit of progress. So much love. I can't be more honored to sit in service and support of this night and this mission. And I love you guys.
Well said.